Not yet, Shaker.
Oh, okay.
We are waiting for them to join. I'm just sharing the link on YouTube yet.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, Shaker. So,
Okay.
all right. So we are live on YouTube also. So we are starting in just a minute.
Okay, sure.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome into another episode. In fact, the episode number 64 in our beautiful program, the Coaching Hour. You know, every week I really wait for this special program. Why? Because we bring value that you cannot get, I believe, anywhere else. We bring the best of the best content in the best possible way, and we make these conversations so lively and so interesting and so engaging. And if you can hear me, please let me know in the chat box. If you're joining us with here on Zoom, welcome here to our Zoom webinar. And if you're watching me live on YouTube, give me a yes in the chat box. And I'm really looking forward to what we have in store for you today. This is going to be a very interesting and a very fantastic webinar. Something that you have never heard before, something that you have, you know, never seen before, because this is going to be power packed with information. So when I'm looking on this side, I'm looking at my mobile where I'm looking at your comments on YouTube. So just give me a sound check by saying yes if you can hear me in the chat box. I can see that the number here is also increasing here on Zoom. Welcome everybody as you are joining. Anurag is here, Pushkar is here. Welcome Anurag, welcome Pushkar. And as you are joining on YouTube, guys, just say yes in the chat box. Let us know from where you are joining. We would really love to welcome you and congratulate you for being here because you have made the decision to be here. All right, so it's 8 p.m. right now, and we are all set to go and all ready. So let's get started with the episode number 64 of the free program that is the Coaching Hour, where conversation changes your life. For the next 12 weeks, you are in for a ride, my dear friend. Now, when I say you are in for a ride, I absolutely mean it. That means you are absolutely in for a treat for the next 12 weeks because we are getting into the study of the laws, the divine laws of this universe, the laws of success and achievement that every successful person has either consciously or unconsciously have followed on one occasion or another. You talk about any successful person, and I can show you a person who has followed the laws of the universe that we're going to talk about. But when we all start our journey in this beautiful world, when we all start our journey towards success, toward a successful career, toward a successful future, we all have self-doubt. We all are thinking, when the world is filled with so many negative examples, is it possible for me to go ahead and grow? Is it possible for me to really become the person that I want to become? Is it possible for me to really go and express myself the way I want to express? Is it possible for me to earn the money that I want to earn? I know we all have these doubts, the self doubts, the questions about our personality. And I know you're going to agree with me here, right? As I can see that, there are someone who on Facebook said, yes, they agree with that. The name is Darshina. I hope I pronunciate your name right, Darshina. Thanks for being here. We all have these self-doubts about ourselves. But today we are really going to find out the answers to these self doubts. And to find the answers of these self doubts, I want to quote something here from a very powerful and marvelous book that I have in my hand, Working with the Law by Raymond Holliwell. And Raymond Holliwell wrote something here which is absolutely beautiful. So open up your mind and listen to these words. Raymond Holliwell said, there is a marvelous inner world that exists within man, and the revelation of such a world enables man, and the revelation of a such world enables man to do, to attain, and to achieve anything he desires within the bounds and the limits of the nature. But you know what? In order to become the person that you want to become, in order to really make things happen in your life, there are two things that you have to understand. And those two things are, you have to understand the laws, the natural laws of the universe that governs every success, and at the same time, you have to understand the mind. Now, these are the two very important aspects if you really want to make big it happen, really want to make big things happen in your life. You got to understand the mind, first of all. You have to understand how your mind functions. And to understand, you must have an image, and most people have no image of the mind. And then once you understand what is mind, how does it work, then you have to gain an understanding of the natural laws of the universe. And you have to bring these two concepts, the natural laws of the universe and your own mind. And remember, we all have just one mind, the way my partner, the business partner Shaker pointed out in the last session. He said we all have one mind, the divine mind. It's not two mind, it's one mind. Our mystic Chandrasekhar talked about in the first session, the last session we did. And if you haven't watched it, I recommend you that after this session end, go back to the last session we did on YouTube and really watch it later on. Now, let's focus on this aspect right here, the mind. Now, what is our mind? How does it looks like? Now, to understand mind, we need to have an image. But the problem is that we don't have an image for mind. If I ask you, how does your house look like? Bang, like that, you will have an image. If I ask you, how does your car looks like? Bang, like that, you will have an image. You can tell me the model of your car. You can tell me the color of your car. You can tell me, how many doors of your car has. Yeah, that's a very predictable answer. But you can tell me what is the color of the interior. You can tell me all sort of things about your car without even you being in front of your car right now. How and why does this happens? This is happening because you're having an image in your mind. Bang, like that, you're bringing that image on the screen of your mind and you're giving me answers. But when I ask, how does your mind looks like, we have no image and we feel lost. And maybe some of you might be thinking your brain is your mind. That's not at all your mind. In fact, your fingernail is your mind. Mind is an activity, and it is in every cell of your body. So there was a great doctor, Dr. Thurman Fleet in Simon-Tonian, Texas, and he drew an image in 1934. And what we have done is, and I'm really thankful to Mr. Sunil Chaya, who has added this new idea to the diagram of the mind, and it really expanded my consciousness and awareness about the mind. So this circle right here, this represents your mind. Now, some of you are going to laugh at that. You can. I did the same thing. I laughed at it, but once I understand it, I realize how powerful it is. And then there are two parts to your mind. Now, if you go to a psychologist, if you go to a psychiatrist, they may tell you there are many parts of the mind, and they're absolutely true. But when we are talking about personal development, we just have to focus on the two parts of the mind, conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And then you have a body right there. Now, the new thing that we have added to this diagram of mind is coming from the awareness as Mr. Sunil Chaya has passed on to me. There are many scientists out there who study the brain, who study the brain patterns, but at the same time, if brain is the hardware, mind is the software, and if we really want to have a complete understanding of this super powerful machine that we call a human being, we need to have an understanding of the software as well as the hardware, as well as the physical aspect of our side. So we have added this new idea right there, that this is your brain right there. And we call it the mind, the brain, and the body connection. Remember, there is a left brain and there is a right brain. And now what happened? Understand that There is a energy that is flowing to and through you all the time. And this energy is just is. It is neither positive nor negative. This energy is just is. And we can call it unadulterated spiritual energy. And you know what? In your conscious mind, you have the choice to build images. And when you build an image, you know what happened? If you keep on thinking about that image, which you learn from Shekhar with the law of thinking, how to do it later on, you apply this idea or this thought, you apply and you impress that into the subconscious mind. And when any idea any idea that is impressed into the subconscious mind, you know what happened? Your mind at that time sends a command to your brain. There is a signal that is sent to your brain. And once that signal is sent to your brain alter the amplitude of vibration of your body, which ultimately changes the action and which ultimately changes the results that are happening in your life. Now, this is the basic functioning of the mind. Yes, conscious mind operates in a very different way, subconscious mind operates in a very different way. We have understood about them in the last session. But I'll tell you just few points. Your conscious mind just stores information. It stores information, it analyzes information, it does nothing about it. But your subconscious mind is the emotional mind. If you want to change a behavior, you have to learn how to plant that idea to the subconscious mind, because as soon as you plant that idea, the signal, remember, it is going into your brain over and over again. And when the subconscious conditioning is altered, there are new brain cells being developed. And then those new brain cells that are being developed changes the amplitude of vibration of your body, that change the action, and that ultimately changes the results. Now, once we have the basic understanding of the mind, now the next step we have here is to understand the laws. Like, what is a law? Bob Proctor said the law is God's modes of operandi. That means how everything function on this planet. Everything function on this planet by law, not by mere luck or chance. Emerson said that. He said, let him learn a prudence of a higher strain. Let him learn that everything on this planet moves by law, not by luck or chance. Even dust and feather moves by law. Dr. Warren von Braun said that, who was considered as the father of the space program. He said there is a law in this universe. We haven't made that, but he said we can use that for our benefit. Scientists have used that law and they went on the moon. Imagine if we understand the laws of the mind of the universe, what a great achievements we can accomplish at that time. What a great future we will be having at that time if we can just do it. Your whole life is going to change. So now, to talk about the laws, to talk about what these laws are and how to really bring them into our life, I'm going to bring our mystic, my good friend, and a great and a very important member of my company, Human Potential and Growth, Chandrasekhar, on the stage. Shekhar, the stage is all yours. Go ahead and spread some light about the laws with our audience. The stage is yours now.
Okay, thank you, Sukhveer. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. If you can just increase your volume, that would be much better.
Okay, let me try. Can you hear me now?
Yep, perfect, Shaker.
Okay, okay, cool. So let me share my screen.
Now you can share the screen, Shaker.
Okay, yeah, I'm sharing. Can everyone see the screen?
Yes, we can. Let's rock it.
Okay. Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for inviting me over, Sukhveer. Welcome to the free coaching hour live webinar on YouTube by Human Potential and Growth. Today, we will be talking about the law of thinking in episode 64 of the free coaching hour. Let me take you through today's agenda. First, I will be giving you an introduction to this special series that Sukhveer and I came up in one of our mastermind meetings. And then I will be telling you the meaning of working with the law. Before we start working with the law, we need to understand what is the law and how do we exactly work with the law. Then I'm going to go into the law of thinking. And then we're going to have a look at a couple of examples of practical application of the law of thinking in your life. And then I'm going to leave you with a few suggestions on how you can utilize this entire live webinar series for the next 12 weeks to actually expand your consciousness. Beginning with, let me introduce this entire series to you. This is based on Raymond Hollowell's work, Working with the Law, which Sukhveer and I have been studying for a pretty long time. And it's through this mastermind study that we thought of, bringing it over into the free coaching hour and dedicating each week specifically on one single law from the book. But here we have 8 objectives to follow. First, we will be studying the law, each and every law. We'll pick up the law of thinking, for example, this week. Next week, the law of supply. After studying the law, after going through the live webinar, what I want you to do is, what I request you to do is to take a self inventory, because this will help you in seeing your present results, which will dictate to you what your present ruling mental state is. And if you do not like the results you have right now, you can always change them through discipline, because now you have the knowledge of the law. But you have to repetitively keep on studying to change your behavior, because it is in a change of behavior that you'll be inspired to take action towards your goals. And then you have to maintain persistence throughout these 12 weeks. We will be picking up one law each week, and you will have to work with one law for continuously 7 days, with each new law being introduced every consecutive week. And by the end of the 12th week, you will have a new ruling mental state. That is our objective with the series. Now, let us get deep into what is the meaning of working with the law. Um, Imagine all the stars and galaxies that you see in the sky above. Imagine the vast amount of land that we have on this earth and on other planets. Imagine the millions of species on land. Imagine the vast ocean. Imagine that there are so many planets which have their own oceans. Imagine the millions of species existing in this ocean, in all of these oceans. It all comes from one infinite source. Everything that we see in our universe, it all emanated from one infinite source. Now, this infinite source, since everything was created from here, whether you can see that thing or not, whether that thing is animated or unanimated, it really doesn't matter. The thing is, it was created from this one infinite source. So we can say that this one infinite source is also the creative cause of the universe. So there is only one creative cause in the entire universe. Now, the thing is, this one infinite source and this one creative cause is forever flowing to and through you at all times, in all places, whether you realize it or not. Whether you work with it consciously or unconsciously, it does not matter. It is working with you all the time. So, how does it look like? Well, the thing is, it is a formless substance. This infinite source, this creative cause, this power that is flowing to and through you all the time, it's a formless substance. And there is only one formless substance in the entire universe, from which the entire universe, everything that has a form, has emanated. Now, what is the law? This power that flows to and through you, this power that flows to and through me at all places, at all times, 24/7. It doesn't matter what the season is, it is forever flowing to and through you, forever flowing to and through me. This power working in our lives is law. This law is exact. This law is impersonal. This law cannot be changed. We have to study how the law works, and then we have to change our thinking and think according to the way the law teaches us to think. And this is exactly what we are going to cover today, the law of thinking. Before we go into any other law of the universe, let us understand what the law of thinking is, and then we will apply the law of thinking in every new law that we are going to understand, study, and apply in our lives. Now, there's a list of 11 laws that Raymond Hollowell has pointed out in Working with the Law. And this week, we are going to start with the law of thinking, and then we are going to go ahead with supply attraction in the forthcoming weeks. So, let's go into the law of thinking. The author says, we attract only what we think or create. This is the law of thinking. To achieve success, we must think it, we must work it, we must become it. To advance, we must make some effort to rise. Let's go through that once again. We attract only what we think or create. So, what have you attracted in your life right now? Take a self inventory. What have you been thinking so far in your life? What have you been creating so far of your life? You have been following the law of thinking in a certain way. Did it bring anything good to you? Did you achieve success with it? If not, then you have been using the law of thinking in a wrong way. And today you're going to learn how to use it in the proper way in which it is supposed to be used. The author says to achieve success, we must think it, we must work it, we must become it. To advance, we must make some effort to rise. So we have to start our journey of success by first thinking it and then working on whatever we are thinking. And ultimately, we will become it. We have to put an effort to advance because the kind of man or the woman that you want to be, you need to advance yourself. And to advance, we must make some effort to rise. Over here, you have to make effort on the mental plane as well as on the physical plane. On the mental plane, you have to make an effort to let go of your old belief system. And in the physical plane, you have to start working and taking actions on things that you've never done before. You might feel a little bit uncomfortable in doing those things, but you will do them anyway, because ultimately you will become it if you think it and work it according to the law of thinking. Now, what is the correct way of thinking according to the law of thinking? First, you have to broaden your thinking. You have to broaden your thinking so much that you are able to assimilate all the possible point of views. You will not think from here onwards with a limited point of view. I'm not saying you have to agree with all points of view, but you can assimilate all points of view and take whatever you want, what is constructive for you, and leave whatever you don't want. Stop thinking about them. So, broaden your mind to assimilate all points of view possible for a single instance. The first thing after you do in broadening your perception, your thinking, you bring order to your thinking. Your thinking must be in an orderly manner. You have to prioritize what it is that you want right now in your life. How do you want your business to be? How do you want your wealth to be? What kind of a car do you want to drive? How do you want your relationship to be? Everything has to be put in order. Your thinking has to be orderly. From here, if you pick up business, again, think about your business in an orderly fashion. How are you running your business? What are the different operation sectors of your business? How are you doing in each one of them? Is your business online, offline? What are you doing to bring order in your business, order in your lifestyle? Your thinking must be orderly if you want to follow the law of thinking and work with it. The second thing is your thinking must be disciplined. When you think of doing something in an order, you must give yourself a time and you must complete it within the time you have promised yourself. I am not talking about finishing someone else's deadline. I'm talking about the deadline that you give to yourself for your growth, for your passion, for your business, for your life. It has to be disciplined. If your thinking is not disciplined, your behavior will not be disciplined. If your thinking is not orderly, your life will not be orderly. And the third thing that's required is constructive thinking. Constructive thinking means that anytime you are picturing your business, anytime you're picturing your future, your wealth, anything it is that you want, you are always seeing a good picture about it. You are always seeing your growth in it, a substantial growth. That is constructive thinking. So, to follow the law of thinking, make sure that your thinking is orderly. Make sure that your thinking is disciplined. It doesn't matter what you're thinking about, it has to be disciplined. It doesn't matter what you're thinking about, whenever you're thinking about, wherever you're thinking about, it has to be constructive. Is this the only thing? No. There's one more thing we need to keep in mind. When you vent negative emotions, it's being human to vent these negative emotions. But here's a list. Have a look at it. Do you think any word on that list will suit a man or a woman whose thinking is orderly, disciplined, constructive? So the next time you went out any negative emotion, stop right over there. Think about it. When you're in a feeling of hate, in a feeling of envy, ask yourself this question. You owe it to yourself. Ask yourself, is this hate a part of my orderly thinking? Is this hate a part of my disciplined thinking, a part of my constructive thinking? Is this envy a part of my orderly, disciplined, constructive thinking? You'll get your answer. And you'll realize that you're not working with the law of thinking if you are venting out negative emotions. We all vent out negative emotions when we think about the past or anything, maybe sometimes even thinking about the present and the future. We really don't know when it will come out. But when it does come out, and when you recognize that it is a negative emotion, it's not making you feel good, apply the law of thinking. Ask yourself three of these questions. Is it orderly? Is it disciplined? Is it constructive? Does it suit my new personality? I have now started applying the law of thinking in my life. All these negative emotions are not supposed to be inside of me. So, next time you went out any negative emotion, always keep a check on yourself. Ask yourself these three questions. Now, let's go ahead and see how we can practically apply the law of thinking in our everyday life. The first thing that I'm going to tell you, whether you're thinking about your business, your health, your current projects, again, ask the same question. Is my thinking orderly when I'm thinking about my business? Is my thinking disciplined, whatever it is I'm thinking about my business? Is my thinking constructive, whatever it is I'm thinking about my business, my current projects? Let me give you an example. Uh, let's build a picture of your business right now. Let's get some clarity on your business. Work along with me over here, okay? Do you know where your customers are right now? Do you know who your ideal customers are? We are going into orderly thinking right now. Who are the people who have a need for your products or services? Have you reached out to them? Do you know what their spending behavior is? Do you know what interests your prospective customers? What are you doing for their interest? Do you know what motivates your prospective customers? What are you doing to motivate your prospective customers? Have you thought about it? If not, start thinking about it. What value have you thought of giving to your customers so that once they buy your product or service, they will keep on coming back to you over and over again? What value have you thought of giving to your employees? Are you going to create an environment for them where they will be creative all the time, generating ideas and new ways of cutting out the overheads, increasing the net profits, getting new projects from this company, that company? Are you trying to build that environment? What value are you giving to your employees? Have you thought of it? Start thinking about it. Where are you going to get the money from? Do you have to hire affiliates to make the sales? Are you going to run an online campaign? You're looking for a joint venture? Where can people see your products on display? Are they going to see your products on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, or some kind of a community? Are you going to have your own website to sell your products or services? Where are your products going to get sold? Are there any people out there who are going to take your products and sell it on your behalf? What about your customer relationship? How do you want to keep on building good relationship with your customer once they've bought your product or service? Are you going to hire a manager who is going to look after all the customer relationships of your brand? Are you going to use a customized software? Do you have a different plan altogether for maintaining customer relationships? What have you thought about maintaining relationship with your customer in the long run? What activities is your brand involved in? Are you famous for manufacturing certain special kind of a product? Are you specializing in selling some kind of a special service which no one else is selling in the market? Are you making donations for research and development of your industry? What is your brand's main activity? What do you need on a day to day basis to run your business smoothly? Do you need raw materials? Do you need a machine? Do you need a storage house? Do you need a specialist in your industry? Do you need an expert? Do you need a creative person in your industry on an every day to day basis to run your business? Have you thought about what are the resources you'll be needing for your business? Who are you going to partner up with? Affiliate marketers, organizations, communities to scale your business? Think about it. And finally, last but not the least, the cost structure. Have you calculated what it is going to cost you to keep your inventory, to rent or buy a new office, to pay your staff on a monthly or a commission basis, the cost of your internet, computers, laptops, mobile phones, any extra fees for the lawyer or for the chartered accountant for auditing purposes? What is the total cost structure of your business? Have a clear picture of your business with you right now. This is orderly thinking. You are putting your business in an order and then you are thinking about your business. You're not thinking about your business haphazardly. You're not thinking your business in terms of like the shipping department, the manufacturing department, and something like that. Now you are thinking about your business in an orderly manner. Keep working with this picture, build upon this picture, better this picture. You want something more out of this picture, add into this picture, work with this picture. Use your disciplined thinking to work out all the tasks. Use your constructive thinking to see the better of your business. This is how you apply the law of thinking in your business. Keep on doing it every day. It's practice, it develops with practice. The more you do it, the better you get at it. And now here are a few suggestions on what you should be doing, how you can utilize this live webinar series to the best. First of all, here are the objectives that Sukhveer and I laid out as I presented earlier in this presentation, in this live webinar, that we will be studying the laws every week, picking up one law, taking a self inventory, taking a look at our present ruling mental state, then disciplining ourselves, regularly studying, applying the laws regularly, working with persistence, faith, patience, and then going on to developing a new ruling mental state each and every day for the next 12 weeks by learning one new law every single week. So here's the plan of the timeline. This week, we learned about the law of thinking and how to apply it. So from today onwards, you will start to apply the law of thinking in every affair of your life. Think of different sections of your life and start with one section and start applying the law of thinking over there. Then next week, I'm going to be coming up with the law of supply. We will learn to understand and apply the law of supply in our daily lives. By that time, you would have gained a little bit of confidence in applying the law of thinking in various areas of your life. So, along with the law of thinking, by thinking in the correct way, you will be applying the law of supply in your life from week 2 onwards, which is next Thursday onwards. And we will keep on continuing this till week 11, where we will be dealing with the last law, which is the law of success, as given by Raymond Hollowell in working with the law. And then we will use the same pattern. And in week 12, we will be ending this series where in the last episode, I will be summarizing all the 11 laws so that you can start applying all the 11 laws in all the areas of your life every single day of your life from week 12 onwards. That's the objective. That's what Sukhveer and I want, that your life really changes a lot substantially in the next 12 weeks. So, with that, thank you so much, Sukhveer, for having me over. Thank you, everyone, for joining in and patiently listening to me. I hope you gained something out of this presentation. And please join us again next Thursday, 17th of December, for the law of supply. Over to you, Sukhveer.
Wonderful, Shikhar. Ca- Can you just do one thing for me? Like go to the
Yeah.
setting and make me the host again so that I can share my video.
Okay. How do I do that?
Just
I'll
go to
go.
my name. Just go to my name in the panelist. Click on the more, and then there will be a host column. And in the meanwhile, guys, if you have question related to what we cover, you can type
Okay.
that question in the chat box. And we have certain more things today here. The session is not finished yet. I'm going to relate now from this point onwards to the higher faculty, the couple of faculties that how to really use them and how to really bring this law of thinking into your use. All right, so let me just bring my video on here. All right, here we go. Perfect. All right, here we go. Okay, so here we have that stick person back on the screen. As I can see that some of you are already mentioning in the chat box that you have absolutely loved what Shekhar has explained. So thank you so much for these wonderful comments. All right. So now we are going to understand that how this law of thinking that just Shekhar covered, how that law of thinking, how we are going to apply that. Like he shared some of the very beautiful points that you must have a orderly, disciplined, thinking in place if you really want to take the full use of law of thinking. But now let's go to the mind again. Let's go to the diagram of the mind and let's understand about few faculties, not all the faculties of the mind. I'm going to share about the two faculties and how those two faculties really are important for you to understand and apply this law of thinking. So be here for the next 10 minutes more because this is really going to help you to connect a lot of the dots. And if you have already understood what the law of thinking is, if you're thinking about how I can bring that orderly state of mind, then your answer is going to be in these higher faculties. All right. So here we go. Now understand that in your conscious mind, right here, you already have what we call as higher faculties. In fact, we call them intellectual faculties, we call them higher faculties. And the cool part is that just this month, we have in our company launched a program that is on higher faculties, which is called as the Mind Magic Toolbox. And in fact, on this laws, we will be coming up with a program for the laws pretty soon. You will came to know about it a little later on. But now let's bring our attention to these faculties. I'm going to share with you about the faculty that is the reasoning faculty. Now understand that reasoning faculty, it's give you the ability to accept any idea or reject any idea. Now when Shaker was talking about law of thinking, we all know that what ideas are really helpful for us and what ideas are not helpful for us. So, what we have to do is, first of all, we have to understand that this is our ability. We don't have to buy this ability. We don't have to go somewhere and we have to learn about this ability. All we have to do is we have to start using this ability that we can strengthen this ability. And the ability is that you can decide which ideas you want to entertain, accept, or you want to reject. How we do it? Yeah, there is inductive and deductive reasoning factor. We may not have a time today to cover that, but I really want you to share something with you today that you ask yourself a question. Now, whenever any idea is presented in front of you, let's say somebody is saying to you that the economy is going to be, down, businesses will be flattering, there will be, you can say that recession coming in and all that stuff and all these things are going to happen. It is your personal choice whether you want to accept these ideas or you want to reject these ideas. It is a personal choice. Remember, you have that choice. Now what you have to do is, along with the reason, you have to club another faculty, that is perception. Now what is perception? Your perception is your point of view, like how you view something. And the problem with most people are that they view something from a negative point of view. Let me bring a illustration here for you. You know, and this is something that I really, really love. So I'll pick up a book right here and I'll show you an illustration that I really want to share with you. Just stay here with me for a second. So where is that book? All right, here we are. Cool. Now I want you to look at this book right here. Look at this book right here. And I can tell you that there is nothing printed on the cover of the book. There is nothing printed on the cover of the book. Now you can say to me that Sukhbir, you're wrong. Can't you see there is something printed on the cover of the book? And then what I'll tell you that, you're looking on this side of the book, but on the side I am looking, there is nothing printed on the cover of the book. So what is the difference in this situation? The difference is not the book. The difference is the perception. Now you are looking on the front side of the book where there is something written, and I'm looking at the back side of the book where there is nothing printed. So what's the difference? The difference is the point of view. My point of view is on this side, your point of view is on this side. Now that doesn't mean that you are right or I am wrong, or I am right or you are wrong. It's just a matter of perception. And you know what? You will have the same choice in your life. Either you look at something and you can tell yourself why you cannot do it, or you look at something and you can tell yourself why I want to do it. And to do that, you have to learn how to master these higher faculties. You have to learn how to use these intellectual faculties, your reasoning, your imagination, your perception, your intuition, your will, and your memory. Most people don't know that. And you know, this program that we created right there, Mind Magic Toolbox, this program teaches exactly how to use this faculty. It's a 6 month program, and this teaches you step by step process how to use these faculties and understand that you're already using them, but you have to learn how to use them correctly. And you know what happened when you keep this perception right here, rather than looking at the ideas that are not helping, but looking at the ideas that are helping? You know what's going to happen? You're always going to choose productive idea. And when you choose productive ideas in your conscious mind and you keep your perception positive, you're always looking for what can be done in this situation, how I can solve it, what can be done. You know what's going to happen? These positive ideas that you are building in your conscious mind, they are going to get impressed in the subconscious mind. And when you apply the law of thinking, remember there is a term that is called as dominating thoughts. And when you keep some idea in your mind, in your consciousness, and when you repeat that over and over and over and over again with repetition, you know what's going to happen? This idea with repetition is going to get planted into the subconscious mind. It is going to send a signal to your brain over and over and over and over again, because you're constantly planting that. And then that signal is ultimately going to change your neuron pathways, your brain cells. You're going to build new brain cells, and then that brain cells ultimately, my dear friends, going to change the amplitude of vibration of the body, which changes the action, and ultimately which changes the results. Now, that's why it is very, very vital and very, very important for you to understand the law of thinking and understand these higher faculties in the same way. You see, I have just explained you one point about these higher faculties. Imagine when you have a step by step guide, when you have a step by step process, when you have someone supporting you in the process, where your understanding will be, it is going to be on a different level. And if you want to learn that understanding, here is a program for you, Mind Magic Toolbox. And the great part is that since this is the anniversary month of the company, we have cool offers going on these programs. And right now, this is the program that is on offer. So after the webinar, if anybody wants to know more details about that, you can simply drop me a message and I'll share with you what the offers are and how you can really take complete benefit of this program and how you can learn how to operate this way that I have explained you right there, where you will be using your perception and your reason and all the other faculties the way you want them, the way they should be used and the way they should be utilized. This is a very, very powerful idea that I've just shared with you. And I hope you have learned a lot from it. And what I will recommend you to do after this webinar ends, when the video is on YouTube, watch this video over and over and over again. Go through the ideas that Shekhar shared, the disciplined thinking, the orderly thinking, and the persistent. It has to be there. It's ODP, ODP of law of thinking, the orderly, the discipline, and the persistence. That's how you make any thought a dominating thought, but at the same time, you got to apply your higher faculties. You have to learn how to apply these mental faculties. And again, I'll tell you, you got to learn how to apply them properly. And if you want to learn, there is a program for you. So you can reach out for me that. And for now, we'll spend just a few more minutes in case anybody has a question. We would really love to answer your questions right here. And if you're on YouTube, guys, you can do the same thing. You can drop your question right there in the comment box, and we would really, really love to answer your question. I guess Pushkar said something right there. Yeah, Pushkar, you can ask your question. Please go ahead and type that in the chat box. Please go ahead and type that in the chat box, Pushkar. And in the meanwhile, if you're on YouTube, guys, just type any question you have there in the chat box, because this next couple of minutes, they are just for the question. We will not be taking a lot of questions. We'll be taking just few questions, but we really want to help you over there. So if anybody has a question, Just type there in the chat box right now. And Shekhar, I will recommend you that if you can just switch on the video for the questions, we'll take some of the questions if they have. And in the last, you can share some of the points. You can just remind them about some of the points, Shekhar, again, so that
Oh
they
yeah,
perfect.
just one. Let me.
And the meanwhile, guys, if you have questions, please feel free to type them. If you're on YouTube, just go ahead and type your question. This is your chance. All right. Here is a question from Here is a question from Sheikh, from Chintan, from Pushkar. Shekhar, try to switch on your video now. You can do it, I guess, now.
Okay, let me see.
All right, here we go. I guess it is starting
Cool.
out
Yeah,
perfect. All
now we
right.
can see.
So next question is for you, Shekhar. So I'll read that question. The question
Okay.
is from Pushkar. Pushkar
Hmm.
said, Mr. Shekhar, it's
Hmm.
me, Pushkar.
Hmm.
And I think he guessed something right about you. He said you spoke like a MBA person about selling, product, brand. All I
Okay.
think about is writing, film, and acting.
Hmm.
Where to start thinking in discipline? So can you share some insight with him? Like he want to be a writer, like he
Okay.
want to be a writer, like most of the examples we shared,
Okay.
that seems like a business point of view examples. So
Okay.
can we simplify it for Pushkar, like how he can use the law of thinking? He's a writer, he
Hmm.
want to be a writer, and like acting in the films, maybe writing for the films and all that stuff. So how he
Okay.
can bring discipline into his thinking? That's his question.
Well, the way I would say is the first point to start is what is his specializing genre? He wants to write horror movies, he wants to write comedy, he wants to write romantic movies, rom-com, commercial movies, action movies. He wants to write scripts for Hollywood, for Bollywood, for the Chinese movie industry, for anything. That's where the entire order has to come in. What does he really want? Again, going to the business model canvas, he has to find out who his ideal customers are, who will come up to the theater, buy the tickets. I'm not talking about anything regarding the COVID-19 right now. The theaters are going to open up anyway. So when the industry starts rolling, it's already rolling through the web series. So does he want to write for web series? He has to make a plan. Does he want to write for the television industry? So something has to be planned in an orderly way. First of all, writing for films, for televisions. Yes, there are script writers who keep on writing for everything, and everybody is shifting to web series these days. So he has to make a point. He has to actually find, investigate where his target audience lies. That's the starting point. From there, he has to go to what genre he's writing. Then he has to get in touch with various production houses. He has to go and maybe sign non-declaration agreements with a lot of people in the entertainment industry to get his ideas out. He has to go to production offices, or maybe hold a meeting with one of the producers, or maybe assistant producers, assistant directors, through Skype meetings. That's the place to start. And yeah, pick up a couple of books which actually give you a good overview format of like how to write screenplays kind of books. Invest in a good software which actually makes script writing in the perfect format, the way it is accepted in the industry. He will be knowing more about the industry. So that is how orderly thinking has to be brought in. And then discipline has to be brought in, the disciplined thinking. If he decides that he's going to write, for example, rom-com is his main genre, so he has to start thinking about the movie name, the character names, everything in discipline. He has to give a command to his subconscious mind to give him ideas. That's what Dr. Joseph Murphy wrote in The Power of His Subconscious Mind. He gave an example of Robert Louis Stevenson. He used to, give command to his subconscious mind to give him certain brownies. The brownies were actually broken parts of the same story. And all that R.L. Stevenson did was he joined all the brownies together, and, he became a well-known author. And that's, I think, exactly what Pushkar needs to do. He has to really get focused onto what exactly he has to write, and then he has to start writing the script. That's the first thing. Start writing the
Absolutely.
script. Start writing anything
Absolutely.
where the thing is
Absolutely,
happening.
Shekhar.
Start writing the log line, start writing a summary. Just write a story, a one-page story. It has to start somewhere, and the order will be developed, the discipline will come. That's how he used to work. And constructive thinking, he always has to build an image 24/7. He has to hold an image that people are already watching his web series, television series, or film in the theater while they're hanging around with their friends. That's the kind of image he has to build in. He has to build images like producers are calling him. They want to have a Skype meeting with him. They really liked his, script. They read the script and now they want to get into a final contract with him. He has to build a clear picture. Now I have to get into a detailed chat with him to really understand what is the map that he has designed, in an orderly way. So this is how he can start. This is how he can persist. And I'm quite sure in 12 weeks, he can come up with a very great screenplay. I'm quite sure of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Great, great, Shekhar. That's a cool answer that you have given. I absolutely love the way you share the clarity. And
Okay.
he has a next question that I'm writing, and I
Okay.
I would really love to answer this question for him.
Oh,
And
yes,
you can
sure.
also
Sure.
add on. He
You
said
go ahead, Sukhveer.
he said, I'm writing, but I want to know how to meet Anurag Kashyap. So I'll tell you, Pushkar, how to do it the same
Hmm.
way you did last time. And many people don't know that, Pushkar, Shekhar.
Hmm.
Pushkar is like one of my good student. I met
Hmm.
him a
Hmm.
couple of years ago in Delhi airport. And in that
Okay.
time, he told me that he want to meet, I guess the name was Arundhati Roy, if I'm not wrong. He can share the name.
Okay.
So he said, I want to meet that. He sent me a couple of names. So what I did, I take up a gold card from my bag at that time, and I gave
Hmm.
it to him. I said, write down when you want to meet him, put up a
Huh.
date over there.
Yeah.
And that day he had no clue how it is going to happen.
Yeah.
And just recently, maybe before lockdown, he
Huh.
went to that Arundhati Roy's home,
Huh.
and she talked to him like such a great genuine friend, and that all was an
Okay.
unimaginable thing for Pushkar. So Pushkar, your answer is already there. If you can do it once, you can do it twice. The process is
Absolutely.
the same. Just
It's
take
the
a same
same
gold card,
thing.
do it again,
Yeah.
do it again. Perfect. All right. So there is another question on YouTube right now, Shaker. So I'll read it for you from the mobile.
Oh, yeah,
So
please.
the question is from Prema, and
Hmm.
Prema said, "When you say repetition,
Hmm.
I remember when we were at school and
Hmm.
we were given lines to
Hmm.
copy. It
Hmm.
helps us remember." So I think it's more like a comment, rather than you can say a question, and that's
Yeah.
obviously right.
Yeah.
For example, if I ask somebody that what is A for, doesn't
Hmm.
matter whatever their age is, even after
Hmm.
90 years, they will reply me A for apple. And that repetition has been done so many times when we were
Yeah.
in the schools, right?
Yeah.
So that's what she's mentioning. Perfect. Cool.
But that's where disciplined thinking comes in when you're dealing
Exactly.
with replacing your old belief system with the new ones.
Absolutely. It starts with the orderly way, organizing things, and then
Yeah.
adding discipline to it. And then, the persistence that is the golden key to, the master riches that Napoleon Hill talks about it.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, then. So thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, Shaker. That was a
Thank you,
really
Sukhveer.
powerful, wonderful
Thank you,
session.
everyone.
And I'm looking forward to see all of you who have watched this session, watch it to the replay, watch it over and over again. And from now onwards, we will be posting, small, small snippet ideas in our Facebook group. So if you are in our Facebook group, that's perfect. If you are not, reach out to me. I'll share the link with you. In that group, a lot of things are going to happen. So join us, in the next week, next Thursday at the same time when we get into the law of supply, where a lot of your self-limiting beliefs will be discarded and faded away forever. So once again, thank you so much, Shaker, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Sukhveer.
everybody.